The sky was blue that morning. Calm, peaceful. Children played in parks. Workers walked to offices. Planes flew above. As always, no one knew was the last normal day. In the small town, a girl named Lisa stood on her school bus. She looked up and saw something strange, a bright dot in the sky. It didn't move, it just glowed. "Teacher," she said, "look at that star." But it wasn't a star. At the same time, in New York, a man walking his dog looked up. "What is that?" he whispered. More people noticed it. In Tokyo, in London, in Cairo, in Cape Town. All over the world, eyes turned to the same point in the sky. Something was coming. At first, news reporters joked, "UFO Day." They laughed. Scientists tried to explain. It could be a satellite, they said, but it kept growing bigger, brighter, closer. By nightfall, the whole world was watching the sky. Fear spread like wildfire. Satellites failed. Communication systems dropped. Airplanes were ordered to land. Military jets scrambled into the sky. Then it happened. At exactly 9:12 p.m., the sky broke open. A crack appeared, wide and black, like someone tore the fabric of the sky. Then light exploded. Blinding, a roar followed so loud it shook mountains and shattered glass in cities. From the tear, something came out. Not one, hundreds, thousands, giant ships. Alien, silent. Each ship was the size of a city, sharp, metallic. They moved slowly, with purpose, like predators in the deep sea. The people watched. Some cried, some prayed. Others stood frozen. In the White House bunker, President Keller sat with his generals. "What do they want?" he asked. No one answered. A video came from Space Command, a message from the aliens. The voice was cold, robotic, translated by machines. "We are the Kalari. You are now under Dominion rule. Do not resist. We bring order." The screen went black. Around the world, cities went dark. Power grids collapsed. Skies filled with thunder that wasn't thunder. Alien machines flew low and fast. They dropped towers, black structures that planted themselves deep into the ground. No one knew what they did. Then came the attacks. In Shanghai, buildings exploded without warning. In Rio de Janeiro, a stadium filled with people vanished into dust. In Berlin, a blue beam cut the sky and left nothing behind. Panic spread. Humans tried to fight back. Jets flew up. Missiles launched. Nothing worked. Alien ships had invisible shields. Human weapons were useless. Tanks burned. Fighter pilots vanished. Mid-air. But in one part of the world something strange happened. The aliens landed in northern Canada, a small town near an old mining base. They expected no resistance, but the town was empty. No people, no vehicles, no sound, just a single word painted on the street in red. "Welcome." Inside the alien ship, Commander Thay looked confused. "Why is there no resistance?" His second-in-command, Zarek, scanned the area. "Life signs. Low, but there is movement. Underground." Thay ordered his troops to land. Soldiers exited the ship's tall, gray, armored. They spread out in formation. A scout team entered the main town building. It was a school. Old, damaged, but something was wrong. On the walls were photographs, but not of children. Photos of them, alien species, on metal tables. Bodies cut open, studied, labeled. One soldier whispered, "This isn't a school. It's a lab." Too late. The door behind them locked. Gas sprayed from the ceiling. The soldiers screamed, then silence. The commander's ship watched from above. "Contact lost," said Zarek. Commander Thay frowned. "Humans do not have this technology," Zarek responded. "They must have had help." "No," Thay said. "They were waiting for us." In another bunker, deep under Colorado, General Marcus Reed watched the same footage. "They're here," he said calmly. His assistant, Agent Rowe, nodded. "Yes, sir. just like the simulations predicted. General Reed turned to a large screen. It showed the planet and the alien ship's positions. He pressed a red button. A code flashed. Project Widow, Phase 1, INITIATE around the world. Underground systems powered up. Huge panels slid open in deserts, mountains, forests. Inside were weapons the world had never seen, not nuclear. Not traditional, that's something else. Dark science. Unseen by public. Created in secret for decades. The world had prepared. In space. The alien fleet commander Vortek watched Earth carefully. He turned to the other generals. Something is not right, he said. This world does not scream. It does not beg. It waits, another general replied. They are primitives. No, Vortek said. They are something else. At that moment, one of the Earth's oceans lit up. Not fire. Not a weapon, a signal. Bright blue lights formed a pattern on the surface of the Pacific Ocean. Alien symbol sent back at the invaders. You are not the first. You will not be the last. Then everything went quiet. In a mountain base in Eastern Europe, a woman named Dr. Alara Vuss opened a case. Inside was a black cube. The cube hummed. She placed it on a table, connected it to wires. Her assistant looked nervous. What is that? He asked. Alara smiled faintly. Pain, she replied, with a flick of her hand. She activated the cube. In space, near the alien ships, something invisible moved. A wave. Alien sensors screamed. Systems failed. Ships twisted in the sky like birds. Hit mid-flight. One ship crashed into the Sahara Desert. Another exploded over the Atlantic. Commander Thay stood frozen in his ship. What is this? Zarek checked systems. Unknown energy. Not from space, from Earth's core. How is that possible? Zarek paused, then whispered. They used their whole planet as a weapon. In New York, a few humans came out of hiding. They looked at the sky. Alien ships were still there, but no longer silent. Some shook, some smoked. Sirens stopped. The streets were still. A young man recorded a video on his phone. We're still here, he said. They came for us. But Earth is not what they think. The video went viral in just minutes. A global message followed. This is not a surrender. This is a trap. Let them come. In a forest in South America, a squad of alien soldiers hunted a group of humans. They chased them through trees and fog. Suddenly, the humans disappeared. Then the forest itself moved. Alien soldiers screamed. Only one survived. He ran back to the ship, covered in blood. He said only one word, demons. Commander Vortak watched all this. He felt fear for the first time in 300 years. Not because of weapons. Not because of armies, because of silence. Because the humans were not fighting like soldiers. They were hunting like predators. He gave the order. Send message to the homeworld. Earth is not weak. Earth is waiting. But it was already too late. One by one, the alien ship started losing control. Their engines jammed. Their systems confused. From inside Earth's crust, ancient signals echoed. Old, intelligent, angry. The sky had broken open, but hell had broken out. The alien ships hovered over Earth, huge, black, and silent. They had expected war. They had expected fear. What they got was silence. Not the silence of peace, but the silence before something terrible. Commander Thay stared at the ruins of the small Canadian town below. 20 soldiers entered. None came back. No explosions, no signs of life, just gone. He ordered another group. This time, drones. 5 small machines flew low over the empty streets. Cameras on. Scanners ready. They moved past broken windows and abandoned cars. Snow covered everything. Wind howled. But there was no movement. Inside the old school building, one drone entered a hallway. Its camera flickered, then stopped. Another entered a house. It found something odd: maps, plans, wires, human writing on a wall. You opened the sky, now we open the ground. Then that drone 2 lost signal. Commander Thay felt uneasy. They're hiding, Zarek said. It's a coward tactic. No. Thay replied. This is something else. This is a message. Far below, underground, human eyes watched every alien move, deep inside a hidden base under the Rockies. General Reed looked at the drone feed. They're curious, he said. Doctor. Voss nodded beside him. Curiosity killed the invader, Reed smirked. Time to move to Phase 2. He pressed a second code. Project Widow. Phase 2. Hollow Asygenal all over Earth. Hidden machines activated. Some inside mountains. Some under oceans. Some buried. Deep beneath cities. They didn't make sound. They made holes in the electromagnetic field. Alien systems began to go blind. Above the Pacific, a mothership spun in confusion. Its controls flickered, lights dimmed. The main pilot yelled, "We are losing sensors. Reset systems." "It's not us," another alien said. "Something is jamming our vision." Commander Vortak heard the reports from all zones. "This planet is not reacting," he said. "It's calculating." He looked at a map. Dozens of alien scout teams had gone missing. No explosions, no resistance. Disappeared. He sent a final command. Do not go underground. But it was already too late. In northern Russia, a team of 10 alien scouts entered an old human factory. Their heat scanners picked up life signs, faint, but present. As they moved inside, something felt off. The walls were marked with human letters. But they were old, burnt. This place had been used long ago. Suddenly, lights clicked on. One scout stepped forward. He touched the wall. A metal click. A trap, too fast to react. The floor opened. They fell. The last one to fall saw a symbol drawn. On the ground, a skull. Inside it, a planet. Then the darkness swallowed them. The alien base above Earth received the final image from that squad. Then silence. Zarek reported to Commander Thay. Another team gone. Thay turned slowly. Send no more ground troops. But no more, Thay said. We are not fighting a race. We are fighting a plan. Back on Earth, in a desert facility in Nevada, Agent Rowe stood before a steel door. He entered a code. The door hissed open. Inside, rows of strange tanks. Each one held a figure, not quite human. Not quite machine. Hybrid soldiers. Designed in secret. Trained underground. Minds linked. Hearts replaced. They didn't sleep. They didn't eat. They didn't speak. They just waited. Rowe tapped his earpiece. Project Chimera activated. In dark places, these soldiers began to move. In Brazil's rainforests, alien harvesters collected plant samples. Suddenly, they stopped. From the trees, human shapes appeared. Silent, fast. They didn't shoot. They didn't need to. They touched the machines and they died. One alien screamed as his own armor turned against him. Then silence. The rainforest swallowed the rest. Commander Vortak received another report. 100 scout teams gone. 5 ships lost communication. What is happening down there? One alien general cried. Vortak didn't answer. He stared at the Earth's image. This was not a war. Not yet. This was a message. And they were too proud to listen. In an underground archive in Iceland, Dr. Ilara Vos opened a file. It showed ancient symbols. Alien. The Kalari have been here before, she whispered. Her assistant leaned over. But that was 2,000 years ago. Ilara nodded. Yes, but they didn't win. She pointed to a drawing, an alien corpse in chains. We buried them. We erased their visit from history. But Earth never forgot. The assistant's hands trembled. Then this invasion was expected, Ilara said. And planned for. She looked at a red button on the wall. It simply read, Awaken. Under the oceans, huge machines powered on. Their heat was not seen from satellites. They were not human-made. They were sleeping until now in Earth was waking them at night in a ruined part of Berlin. A small alien group set up a base camp. They found nothing but ash and bones. But when the sun fell, they heard something, a sound low and deep, like breathing. One alien looked outside. The buildings seemed to move. Windows blinked. Walls shifted. Then a shape appeared. Not man, not machine. Old. Angry. The aliens ran. Only one survived, babbling nonsense. His last word, the city, was alive. In space, the Kalari ships tried to regroup, but their network was crumbling. They sent a final message to Homeworld. Earth is not under control. Earth is not weak. Earth is a trap. No reply came, not because the Homeworld was gone, but because Earth had silenced the signal. Completely. Back underground, General Reed stood in front of a giant screen. It showed the Earth. Flashes of alien energy. Blue sparks in orbit. Crashes in the jungle. Screams in space. Reed looked to his officers. They wanted a clean war, he said. But Earth doesn't fight clean. He turned to Ilara. Begin the next stage. She opened a new file. Its name, The Silence Below. And she smiled. In a quiet part of India, a group of children looked up. They saw the sky full of fire, but none were afraid. They knew what the rest of the world was still learning. This was not the beginning of the end. This was the beginning of something else. Something buried, something angry, something human, but not fully. A final broadcast went out from a secret Earth satellite. It reached every alien ship. No voice, only a message. You came from the sky, but you forgot to ask what lies beneath. The skies above Earth burn softly now. No more full attacks. No more open strikes. The Kalari invaders had slowed. They were watching. Waiting. But they didn't know. They were already inside the net. In a hidden command room under Alaska. General Reed stood over a large screen. He pointed to the red marks. Alien ships floating over silent cities. Why haven't they attacked again? Agent Rowe asked. They're unsure, Reed said. And that's exactly what we want. Dr. Ilara Voss stepped in. Phase 3 is ready. Reed gave a small nod. Good, let's feed them. Across the world, humans began returning to the surface. Fake camps, civilian groups. Survivors waving flags. All planted by Earth's defense teams. Drones recorded. Helpless people crying, begging for help. Video signals were made easy to intercept. The aliens watched these broadcasts. Look at them, Zarek said on Commander Thay's ship. Exposed, defenseless, no weapons. Thay stared carefully. They want us to see this, Zarek laughed. Why would they do that? Because we want to save them, Thay replied slowly. They expect our mercy, Zarek grinned. Then, let's give it to them and take the rest. He didn't know those were not survivors. They were bait. In one fake survivor camp, a group of supposed humans stood huddled near a fire. Above them, a small Kalari scout ship descended, its legs touched down. A hatch opened. 2 alien soldiers stepped out. They walked forward, scanning for weapons. Primitive, one said. Just scared cattle. One woman stepped forward. She looked weak. Barefoot. She whispered, Please, help us. Suddenly, she lifted her arm. A click, the fire went out. The sky above turned black. And from the ground they came. Chimera units, human, but enhanced. Fast, cold, deadly. The aliens screamed. The last thing they saw was the woman's eyes glowing red. In orbit, Commander Vortak reviewed the report. Another team gone, said his officer. We gave them food, water, mercy, said another. Vortak clenched his fist. No, he said. We gave them our neck. He tapped into Earth's data file, some stolen, some intercepted. Most were decoys, but one was real. An old message. 20 years ago, a human scientist speaking to world leaders. We won't win with weapons, not against them. But we can win with something older. Hunger, fear, deception. Back underground, in Geneva, an emergency council met in a hidden chamber. Each member represented a powerful nation. But now they were just humans. No flags, no borders, just survival. A large screen showed Project Inferno's status. Every council member saw it. Dr. Alara Voss stood before them. We planted the seeds years ago, she said. We let them think Earth was weak, divided, slow. She turned and showed maps of destroyed alien patrols, but we watched, we waited, and we built traps inside traps. One member asked, what if they stop falling for them? Alara smiled faintly. They already have. That's why we built the biggest trap of all. In Nevada, the old nuclear test site was now empty land, or so it seemed. Beneath it, a giant vault opened. Inside, a massive structure made of metal, bone, and dark tech. Project Banshee, a sound weapon, but not like any speaker. This one attacked the mind, not the ears. It was made for aliens, tuned to their neural patterns, built from data taken during their first failed attempt thousands of years ago. Now, the machine was waking. Commander Fay received strange reports from orbit. Some of his soldiers were changing. Not dying. Breaking. One screamed without end. Another started to speak in a human language, then tore out his own eyes. Zarek panicked. A virus? No, Fay said. Something worse. We are being dismantled. In deep space, a secret Kalari ship watched everything from afar. It sent back reports to the Kalari homeworld. Earth is resisting, but they are not using war. They are using themselves. Homeworld replied, destroy them. The scout replied, we can't. We're already inside their trap. No answer came back. The Kalari High Council, proud and blind, had already turned their eyes to the next conquest. They didn't see Earth becoming something else. Back in a desert near the Middle East, an alien scout found a small child. The child was alone, sitting in the sand. The scout approached, slowly. He looked around. No soldiers, no weapons. He spoke. Why are you here? The child looked up. Her eyes were strange. Too calm. To wait, she said. For what? The alien asked. She smiled. You. The ground shook. Too late, the alien realized the girl wasn't a girl. She was a test unit. An eye inside a human shell, and under her were explosives. The explosion wasn't fire. It was silence. Everything around vanished in a flash. The aliens in orbit saw the signal. But it wasn't distress. It was a code. Bait successful. Targets engaged. Begin next layer. In underground chambers, thousands of machines activated. Each one connected to satellites, to dead zones, to old servers that the aliens thought were useless. But Earth systems were never down. They were hiding. Now. They were watching. Learning. Predicting alien moves before they made them. Not using human minds, but something older. Something created before the first alien signal was ever received. Project Umbra, a global AI defense network hidden beneath false data. And now it was awake. On the alien mothership. Chaos spread. Systems stopped responding. Maps turned black. Every alien officer received the same message. Curiosity, arrogance, pride. You came to conquer minds, but forgot we had evolved ours. You stepped into the hunting ground. Now you run. Commander Vortuk felt cold. Not fear of death, but fear of being wrong. The humans were not primitives. They were predators pretending to be prey. They built Earth into a trap, and the aliens were the bait. Somewhere in Siberia, in a cold, dark cave, a machine began to hum. It had been placed there before most of the world even had internet. It had only one purpose: to release what was left of the first invasion. Inside it, something stirred. It was not human. It was not Kalari. It was worse. A third force. Something from before both. It had waited. Now Earth wanted it awake. Because Earth was done hiding. It was time to hunt. The alien fleet was quiet now, floating, watching. No more cities destroyed. No more fire from the sky. But Earth was not quiet. Earth was planning. And Earth was about to answer. Not with mercy. With hell. In an underground bunker below Switzerland, General Marcus Reed stood before a dark screen. His voice was calm, cold. Begin Hell Protocol. A single officer turned a key. The lights dimmed. A message flashed. Hell Protocol Phase 1. Unleash. In hidden bases across the world, weapons long kept secret started to move. They were not tanks. Not missiles. They were living. Deep inside a lab in the Arctic Circle, cages opened. Black shapes stepped out, half human, half machine, eyes glowing. Hearts replaced. Their minds connected to one system, Project Umbra. They felt no fear. They felt no pain. They were trained for one purpose: make invaders bleed. And now they were free. Above Earth, on the alien command ship, Commander Thay stared at new reports. Something was wrong. His scouts were not just disappearing. They were being hunted. Systematically. Tactically. He zoomed in on one location, South Africa. A team of 30 alien soldiers went missing there just 1 hour ago. Footage recovered from one helmet showed brief, shaking video, dark corridors, whispers, blood on the walls. Something moving in the shadows. Then, nothing. The footage ended with one sentence scrawled on a metal wall: "We are the darkness you brought with you." In a base under Colorado, Dr. Ilara Voss watched the operation unfold. Each Chimera unit, every enhanced soldier was being tracked. They were moving fast, striking hard. Not in cities. In the blind spots, in places the aliens thought didn't matter. "Don't let them look up," Ilara said. "Let them look down and die," her assistant whispered. "They won't expect this." "They already don't," she replied. "That's the point of Hell Protocol." She looked at a new screen. Phase TWO Night Code. Release the nightmares. In the forests of Scandinavia, the night units were deployed. Clad in black armor, almost invisible to heat scans, they moved without sound. Each carried shock weapons, brain jammers, and reflex accelerators. They did not speak. They did not blink. They struck at nightfall. And by sunrise, 4 alien outposts were silent. Forever. One Kalari soldier survived, but his mind didn't. He wandered, muttering words that made no sense. They They hunted time. They broke the dark. Then he dropped dead. His body aged 300 years in 1 second. On the Kalari mothership, Commander Vortok stood alone. His face was no longer proud. His hands shook as he viewed the earth. "This is not a battlefield," he said. "It's a trap." With teeth, a younger officer spoke. "We must regroup." "Hit hard," Vortok whispered. "No, hitting harder won't help." He turned to a new report. Another scout ship had found a deep crater in Asia. Inside it, bodies. Alien bodies. Kalari. From centuries ago, twisted, broken, shaped into weapons. "They didn't just fight us before," he said. "They studied us. They improved on us." In northern Australia, something ancient rose from the desert. A machine, built by humans, guided by AI, powered by alien DNA. Its name, Leviathan. Unit 9 standing 20 meters tall, covered in reflective bone armor. Its engine didn't burn fuel. It burned fear. Alien sensors tried to scan it, but failed. Leviathan didn't wait. It charged. And within 12 minutes, a Kalari dreadnought was on fire. Not just damaged, torn open, elsewhere. In a hidden lab under Egypt, an old program activated. A childlike voice came from a speaker. "Protocol accepted. Starting memory recall." Dr. Vos watched as the AI began creating simulations of alien behavior, tactics, fear levels, communication delays. Every second, it got better, smarter, faster. The AI smiled. I understand now. You fear what you don't control, so we became uncontrollable. Above, alien fleets broke formation, not to attack, to retreat. But they couldn't. All Earth satellite systems were back online, but hidden, sending false maps. Broken signals, alien ships turned and found themselves in storms, in traps, in minefields of sonic distortion. One by one, they fell, quietly, in South America. An alien general gave the order to evacuate his team. He landed a shuttle in a safe zone. It never came back up. Why? Because that zone was not safe. It was hell's mouth, a field laced with magnet bombs, brain jammers, and quantum spikes. The shuttle melted in midair. The general screamed into his comms, "Help us! We are being played!" No answer came, because the Earth was no longer talking. Earth was eating. In a secret base under Antarctica, General Reed stood over a red key. His voice echoed in the room. We gave peace a chance. He turned the key. The system spoke. Phase 3, Echo Storm initiated. Across Earth, towers rose from the ground. They looked like radio antennas, but they weren't for music. They were sound. Cannons, invisible waves shook the sky, not toward humans, only toward the aliens. The invaders screamed. Their eardrums burst. Their armor cracked. Some bled from their eyes. Others simply collapsed, their brains overloaded by fear. Commander Thay watched helplessly. His officers were dying from a signal they couldn't even detect. He whispered, "What have they done?" Zarek answered, pale, "They weaponized our biology." Commander Thay knew then. This was never a fight. This was a test, and they had failed. Back on Earth, in a quiet chamber, Dr. Ilara Voss sat alone. She opened a file labeled Phase 4. Shadow Tide, final stage locked. She hesitated, then closed it. Not yet. Hell protocol was working. The aliens were broken, scattered, but she knew something else was watching, something that had not moved yet, but once it did, even the humans might not survive. So she waited. For now, hell was enough. And in the dark corners of Earth, where even light feared to go, something whispered. Not in words. In memories. The memories of the first war. When Earth bled. And rose again. Not as prey. Not as survivor, but as hunter. And now, it hunted again. The skies were no longer full of fire. Alien ships, once proud and unstoppable, now drifted like broken birds. They came to rule Earth. Now they were trying to escape it, but they couldn't, because Earth had become a cage. Commander Vortak stood on the bridge of his damaged command ship. His eyes, once sharp with pride, were tired now. He turned to his science officer. "Status of the fleet?" The officer hesitated. "We are scattered. 17 ships destroyed. 30-2... Missing. No signal. And escape paths?" The officer looked down. "All blocked. Earth's gravity field has changed. Impossible. Not natural," the officer added. "Artificial interference. Controlled from the surface." Commander Vortuk understood. They were not trapped by chance. They were caged by design. In an underground command center in northern Canada, General Reed watched satellite feeds. One of his officers leaned over. "Alien fleet is turning inward. They're trying to regroup." Reed nodded. "Let them." Dr. Voss entered the room, holding a tablet. "They still don't realize," she said. "We're not trying to kill them." Reed raised an eyebrow. "No, we're trying to keep them here." Reed looked back at the screen. "The cage is working." In the Amazon rainforest, a Kalari patrol marched through thick mist. They moved carefully now. Gone was the pride. Gone was the confidence. They held their weapons tight, eyes watching every shadow. Then the trees moved. Not wind. Not animals, but shadows. Silent, fast, One alien fell. Then another screams echoed through the jungle. The last soldier dropped his weapon and ran. He didn't get far. A figure stepped in front of him, human-shaped, but not human. Its skin was dark metal. Its eyes white and glowing. It didn't speak. It simply raised its hand. The soldier froze, heart stopping before he hit the ground. In orbit, Commander Thay saw the footage. He turned to his war council. The humans have created a battlefield we cannot understand. They poisoned the ground, one said. They poisoned the sky, said another. No, Thay whispered. They poisoned our thinking. They made us believe they were weak. Back underground, in a hidden lab below Tokyo, Alara Voss examined strange bones. They were not human, not alien, either. Something else. Old. Too old. The assistant beside her whispered. These aren't Kalari remains, are they? No, Alara said softly. These are from the first species that tried to invade. The assistant's eyes widened. There were others? Alara nodded. Thousands of years ago, they came. Earth beat them too. She pointed to the bone scars. Earth didn't just defend itself. It absorbed them. In a lab deep under Mount Elbrus in Russia, Project Orion activated. Giant towers pushed out from the mountain, sending pulses into space. Alien ships nearby began to spin off course. Their own navigation systems turned against them. One Kalari. Captain screamed as his ship flew into another without warning. His final thought, they hacked space. But it wasn't space. It was control. Earth had taken control of the very air. They flew through. In a ruined city once called Istanbul. A lone alien scout wandered through dust. He looked up at the sky, orange, quiet, still. Then he heard music. Soft piano. Human. He followed the sound. In the middle of the street stood a child. No shoes. Wearing a white shirt. Eyes calm. The scout raised his weapon. The child didn't move. Instead, she said, "You hear the music?" The scout hesitated. The music changed deeper now. Sad. The buildings around them began to tremble. The sky cracked. Open, not from ships but from sound. The music wasn't music. It was a signal. And the buildings were alive. Metal folded. Concrete shifted. Towers bent like arms. And the city itself devoured the scout. On the mothership, panic spread. Reports flooded in, ships crashing without cause. Soldiers seeing things that were not there. Environments changing at will. Time itself slowing down in some zones. Zarik looked at the data. We are in a box. We can't see, Commander Thay replied. Not a box, a cage. And the planet is the jailer. At the South Pole, the last part of the cage closed. Massive energy towers powered on. They formed a ring thin, invisible, but stronger than any wall. Any ship that tried to pass through it simply disappeared. Not exploded. Vanished. Like Earth had. Swallowed them whole. General Reed looked at the data. They're not just trapped by gravity or systems. Dr. Voss nodded. They're trapped by something older. She turned her screen around. It showed a map of ancient energy flows, something deep inside the planet. Earth isn't just reacting, she said. It's remembering. Above the planet, Commander Vuertek gathered his final officers. He showed them the map. He showed them the dead zones. He showed them the cage. We cannot leave, he said. We must destroy their control system. One officer asked, where is it? Vuertek stared at Earth. That's the problem. The planet is the system. In a dark chamber under Iceland, a vault opened. Inside, hundreds of books, files, data drives, all written by dead scientists, people who knew the truth. Earth was never just dirt and water. It was built, guided, evolved by something else. Not humans. Not aliens. Something that hated being watched. Something that turned invaders into pieces. A single note was written on the last page of a journal. They didn't land on Earth. They landed inside it, In one last attempt, a Kalari general ordered a full-speed escape. His ship pushed all energy forward. The engines roared. They broke orbit. Moved toward open space. They crossed the energy line, and then the stars blinked out. The crew didn't scream. They couldn't. There was no sound in nowhere, because they were not dead. Not alive. Just removed. Commander Thay sat alone in the ship's control room. The walls around him darkened. His ship floated, surrounded by silence. He stared out the window, but the sky was wrong. It looked mirrored. Like Earth had turned space into glass. His hands trembled. "We should never have come," he whispered. No one answered, because no one was left. Just Earth, and Earth was watching. The world looked quiet now. Alien ships floated in the sky like dying stars. Cities stood empty. No bombs, no fire, but the war hadn't ended. It had only changed shape, because what the Kalari never knew was this: the real war had already happened. Deep under Greenland, in a bunker made of ancient stone and steel, a file opened. Not on a computer. But on a wall. It was a hologram projected from an old AI system, hidden for over 70 years. The words said, "Operation Black Root, Report number 001. The hidden war has begun." A man in a black uniform read the lines. His name, Commander Solon Graves. He was never in the news, never in public, because his job was to fight wars no one knew about, and he had been fighting this one for decades. Back in 1997, Earth had heard something, not a voice, not a signal, a warning, a whisper from space. At first, scientists thought it was noise, but one group understood it: the Black Root Division, a secret team made of soldiers, scientists, spies and things not quite human anymore. They knew something was coming. So they prepared. In shadows. In silence. They built bunkers under schools, weapons, inside hospitals. AI networks hidden inside children's games, because they didn't have to stop an invasion. They had to delay it until Earth was ready. In orbit, Commander Vortak reviewed more strange data, footage from long ago stolen from human systems. Old wars, explosions in places no one remembered. Black helicopters, unknown aircraft. Weapons that never appeared in any museum. But none of those battles were public. Why? Because humans had already fought the invaders once. A war kept hidden, not because they lost, but because they won and didn't want the galaxy to know. Commander Thay walked through his silent ship. His soldiers avoided his eyes. Some had stopped speaking. Others had stopped sleeping. Not from fear, from shame. They were warriors, but Earth had made them feel like prey. Thay entered his private chamber and opened the last message from the Kalari High Command. It said, "Hold your position. Wait for reinforcements." But Thay knew no help was coming. They were alone, and they always had been, because Earth had planned for this moment from the start. In a forgotten vault under the Himalayas, a machine powered on. Inside, records from the year 2005. Back then, a scientist named Dr. Mina Kessler had made a discovery. She found alien DNA hidden in ancient cave samples. It matched the Kalari, but it was older than any alien civilization known, thousands of years old. Proof that the Kalari had come before, and failed. Her final report ended with one line: "Earth does not just survive invasion. Earth uses it." She disappeared days later, but her words were copied. Shared. Buried. Waiting. Until now. At the edge of a ruined city in South Korea, a Kalari scout team moved carefully through the rubble. No humans. No sound. Then they found a mural, painted on a wall in red and black. It showed aliens on fire, screaming, running, and behind them, a shape, human, but not. Tall, eyes white, skin black as ash. Words written beside it in English: "We did not evolve to survive space. We evolved to end it." One soldier dropped his weapon. That another fired blindly. None made it out. The mural was not art. It was a map, and the building? A living trap. In a hidden server room below Norway. A super AI system called Wraith came online. It didn't speak. It didn't show images. It remembered. Everything. Every alien move, every lie, every test. And now it was making countermoves before. The enemy even tried them. Wraith wasn't built like other eyes. It didn't run on logic. It ran on rage, coded from the minds of war veterans who lost everything in earlier attacks, accidents no one ever explained. Now their pain lived inside Wraith, and it was angry. Back in orbit, Zarek stood beside Vortek. He whispered, "This planet is not a battleground." Vortek didn't reply. Zarik continued, "It's a tune, Commander. We're just the next names carved into it." Then Vortek said something no Kalari had ever said before. "We should have feared them. We thought the humans were behind this, but Earth was never theirs to begin with." Inside a cave system under Arizona, old metal doors opened. 6 men in ancient uniforms stepped out, each one unchanged by time. Their skin pale, their eyes glowing. They had been in cryosleep for decades, not because they were weak, but because they were dangerous. Project Hunter 6, special humans, enhanced with alien tech. Frozen in time in case the final stage came, and now it had. One of them smiled, not kindly. "Time to finish the fight," he said. In space, one Kalari ship sent a last message to the homeworld. "We didn't invade a planet. We invaded a memory. And memories don't forget." Before the message could finish sending, a pulse hit the ship. Not from a weapon, from Earth's moon, which was now active. It wasn't just a rock anymore. Had been watching, and it had just joined the war. Back on Earth, Commander Graves stood before a large screen showing all major operations. Black root operatives across the world were now engaging. No uniforms. No medals. No credit. Just silence. Just war. The hidden war. It had been going on for decades. The invasion? That was just the final scene. The world had already been rewritten behind closed doors, and Earth's real army was not made of politicians or soldiers. It was made of ghosts, of things no one saw coming, because that's how you win a war against a species that watches everything. You hide it until it's too late. In the ruins of Paris, a message played from an old radio tower, a voice, human. Female, calm, to the sky. "You are not the first. You will not be the last. But you will be the ones who warned the next. We fought you in silence. Now you will leave in pieces." The tower exploded seconds later, just as another alien command ship passed overhead. Gone. Like it was never there. Earth had no heroes. Only survivors. No victory parade. Only secrets. But now, one thing was clear. The war wasn't only outside. The real war had always been inside. Inside bunkers. Inside lies. Inside silence. And Earth had won that war long ago. Now it was just cleaning up the mess. Silence fell across Earth. Alien ships no longer drifted aimlessly. They tightened their formations. They prepared. They waited. But none dared to speak. They had learned horror. And yet, one thing remained unknown. One final message was waiting to be sent. In a bunker under the Gobi Desert, a small team moved toward an isolated console. They wore no uniforms. No lights marked their stations. They were civilians, scientists, survivors. They gathered around a single screen. It displayed a hexagon pattern, slowly breathing. Dr. Mina Kessler entered the room. Still early 50s, eyes calm but fierce. She placed a hand on the console. "We are ready," she said. The world above did not yet her, high in orbit. Commander Vura talked his console. Nothing. Every channel was silent. The homeworld never replied. He spoke again, voice low. "This is Commander Vortak of the Third Fleet. We request assistance." No response. He lowered his head. The silence echoed his failure. Deep in the Gobi bunker, another member nodded. Her name was Chang, codename Echo. She pressed a key. The console beeped once. A waveform appeared on a screen above, a single tone. At first, it was deep, slow. Then it changed, rising in pitch, falling. A melody. It was a song. Not a human song, but older. Echo smiled. This is it, she whispered. The last signal. On Earth's surface, in cities freed of invaders, people watched the sky. They felt it before they heard it. A low hum in the air, like the Earth itself was breathing. Birds stopped. Dogs howled. Wind stopped. Then the tone rose. Deep, echoing, filling. It wrapped around the planet, around oceans, around deserts, around the broken towers of dead cities. It was a message, not in words. In sound. Commander Vortek and his officers turned to monitors. They saw the hum reach Earth's sensor range. They heard it. The ship's control room filled with vibrations. The metal groaned. The lights flickered. Alien officers looked at each other. Fear. They didn't know it, but they were hearing the voice of Earth's ancient guardians. Back in the Gobi bunker, Dr. Kessler watched as the console waveforms changed shape. Each pattern matched an ancient, alien dialect. A warning, a plea, a command. They were waking something. Something older than Earth's weapons. Something older than alien invaders. In space, ships began to drift. No control. No engines. Just floating. Alien soldiers gripped controls, eyes wide. One said, "What? Is happening?" Vortek whispered. "The planet is singing, and it's calling us home." On Earth, the song rose in power. Mountains resonated. Oceans pulsed. Cities vibrated in the night. Then, one by one, the invader ships began shifting shape. Hull plates melted. Shields broke. Systems died. Within minutes, dozens of ships broke apart. Not from attack. From listening. In the Gobi bunker, Echo placed her hand on Dr. Kessler's shoulder. "They are hearing." Dr. Kessler nodded. "They will leave or they will break." She turned to the screen. The final waveform began, low, slow. Message echoed one last time. "Go back. Do not return. This world is not yours." Commander Vortek stood on his ship's balcony, looking out into space. He watched the broken fleet. Some ships spun apart. Others drifted toward distant stars. His eyes filled with sorrow. "Nobody warned us," he whispered. His second-in-command replied, "You ignored the signs." On Earth, the last signal faded as quickly as it rose. Silence returned. The sky was empty again. No ships. No. Only stars. People waited. They listened. Nothing came. In a control room under Gobi, a final confirmation popped on the screen. "All ships have left or broken. Signal complete." Dr. Kessler exhaled. "We did it," she said softly. Echo looked at her. Or it did. Under ice in Antarctica, a strange console glowed. Ancient runes pulsed. A final note arrived from Gobi. It triggered the lights. The console hummed to life. Deep in the core, something awakened. Not Earth. A guardian. A protector. Built long ago. When other species invaded. When Earth learned not only to survive, but to claim its place. In orbit, Commander Vortek watched the planet one last time. He pressed a button. His ship's beacon flashed. It was a signal. "A farewell. A promise," he spoke. "Into the empty come. We will never forget." Then he closed the channel. And turned the ship away. On Earth, people returned to their lives. Not as they were, but as watchers. They looked at the sky differently now, because they had heard it speak, because they knew they were not alone, because they had unlocked something buried. The last signal was more than a warning. It was a promise that Earth would remember. Deep under Antarctica, the Guardian system hummed louder. It had awoken, and Earth was no longer just a planet. It was a fortress. The sky was clear. The stars above Earth looked peaceful, like nothing had ever happened, but something had done something no alien would ever forget, because the truth had been written not in books, but in blood. The Kalari came to conquer. They came with fire. They expected fear, but what they found was hell. And it was already awake. Commander Vertek stood alone on the observation deck of his damaged ship. He looked down at Earth. Its surface glowed with heat, radiation, and life, but none of it matched their data. It was as if the planet had changed. He whispered, "They didn't fight us, they waited. And then they broke us." On Earth, deep beneath Alaska, a vault opened. Inside stood a man, tall, calm, face covered in scars. His name, Agent Harrow, one of the first ghost soldiers. He hadn't aged in 40 years, not because of medicine, because he was part of the Final Weapon. Project Ashgate. It wasn't a machine. It was a design, a plan to change humans into something else. Something that couldn't be conquered, something that couldn't be understood. And now it had begun. Far away in Africa, a young girl with silver eyes walked through ruins. Where her feet touched, grass grew, but where invader blood remained, the ground cracked and turned black. She didn't cry. She didn't speak. She only looked up at the stars and smiled, because she remembered. And what she remembered was not pain, but vengeance. In orbit, the last alien fleet began to move away, silent, defeated. But one scout ship turned back. It flew low, scanning Earth one last time. Looking for answers. Instead, it found a storm. Not a natural storm, but one made of metal. Drones, dust, and voices. The clouds were speaking, repeating one sentence. "You came to take. We were already taken. Now you are ours." Then the storm rose. The ship vanished. No trace remained. Commander Graves stood in the ruins of what was once New York. He lit a flare, not to signal others, but to watch the flame. To see something human. A small boy walked up beside him, dirty face, clear eyes. "Is it over?" the boy asked. Graves didn't answer right away. He looked at the sky, then said softly, "It's not over, it's just quiet." Dr. Kessler stood at the edge of the Gobi Desert. The sand had turned to glass, burned by the power of the last signal. She removed her gloves, held her hand out. The wind stopped, the sun dimmed, everything listened, because Earth now responded. To them, the humans who had changed, the ones who remembered the old wars, and built themselves to never forget. Inside a ruined alien ship, a human soldier walked calmly. No weapon, no armor. Just skin that reflected light and eyes that saw heat. He placed his hand on the ship's core. It shut down. Because of power loss, but because the machine recognized him, feared him. The human turned and whispered, "You taught us how to break. We learned how to rebuild stronger. You showed us the stars. Now we own the darkness between them." On the Kalari homeworld, a final message arrived. It wasn't in language. It was in emotion, terror, grief, silence. One phrase translated across all systems: "Do not return to Earth. It is no longer what we thought. It is not a planet. It is a warning." In Antarctica, the Guardian systems fully powered on. Lights blinked. Structures moved beneath the ice. Not machines. Skeletons. Of past invaders. Of ancient wars. Of things even the Kalari never recorded. They had tried to take Earth before and failed. Each time, Earth learned. Each time, Earth evolved. Until finally, it stopped being just a world. It became a trap, a lure, a legend. And now, a weapon, a final signal beamed from Earth's deepest core. One simple phrase: "We are awake now. Come again and meet hell." The signal wasn't sent to the Kalari. It was sent everywhere. To every galaxy. To every species. Earth was not hiding anymore. Earth had stood up. Children born after the invasion were different. Smarter. Stronger. Not By accident. By design. Ghost soldiers had survived. But their legacy had changed the species. The next generation of humans wasn't preparing for war. They were becoming the war. 1 year later, a new structure floated above Earth. Dark, silent. Not a satellite. It was human-made. It had no windows. No doors. Only one word written in every language. Remember. It didn't orbit like other stations. It watched. It waited. And it whispered. To anything that listened. To anything that approached. You came here once. That was your mistake. You came with fire. We returned it. You thought we were weak. We became worse. You invaded Earth and found hell waiting.